It's time for the Wrestling Observer Extra.
One more time for old time's sake.
With Dave Meltzer, right here on The Law. Live audio wrestling.
And let's go. We're now smoking with the best.
Welcome back. It is The Law. 1.5 hours into the show. Halfway into the show. I think we're going to go an extra half hour here because apparently that's just the thing to do tonight.
Oh, man. Stretch everything out.
You go more than an extra half hour on your show. All right, we're welcoming on Dave Meltzer now. Now, Dave, you know, you were in Dallas. You were doing podcasts. You were writing reports. We were doing the same thing on our world here and our stuff. Did the powers that be at WWE basically look at what you guys were saying and we were saying and do the exact opposite tonight, Dave?
Yeah, I guess so.
It was very strange, and it almost seemed like a conscious effort to give every match some sort of unexpected finish, perhaps aside from the last one.
Yeah, I mean, some of the finishes did. I had actually gotten, somebody had actually sent me most of the finishes right before the show, so I kind of wasn't that unexpected. It wasn't that unexpected.
But when you read the script, though, when I read
that Jericho was going over, yeah, I was really confused. You know, as far as the other stuff, I mean, Undertaker and Shane, I knew could have gone either way, so I wasn't really that confused about that. The League of Nations, I mean, I knew that one could go either way because the whole thing was to set up the other thing. So there was either the finish was either going to be the New Day goes over and then gets beat up 4-on-3 and then they get saved, or what they did. And actually, I think that may have been better to have them run in rather than this, hey, anyone come out and then – I guess they wanted to give everyone their musical entrance because if they all ran in for the save without them, they wouldn't get the big musical entrance.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't get the biggest pop of the night because that was the biggest pop of the night right there when those three came out.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that probably explains that one. You know, as far as some of the other ones, you know, I mean, the Roman Reigns finish was pretty much determined. I guess the big thing's going to be tomorrow if he goes heel or not. I mean, there was not at the beginning of the match, I thought he was kind of like leaning towards going heel, but as the match went going, he was clearly the babyface. Mm-hmm. The crowd clearly wasn't going to cheer him, and it was not a heel win at all. I mean, Stephanie tried to screw him, and he overcame the odds and everything. So we'll have to see tomorrow what happens next.
Now, speaking of tomorrow, Dave, with Shane not being victorious in the match, is that the end of Shane, or will they find some way? Is he back for good in the picture, or are we done with him now? Have you heard anything?
I think the way he went out and everything, I think that we're done with him. I sure hope he's not on TV tomorrow after taking that bump.
Yeah, well, I think they used to do stuff like that, though. They did
job and everything.
They did stuff like that all the time in the Attitude Era, when someone would be in a killer match and then they'd be back on Raw the next day.
Yeah, I know. I mean, originally I was told he was only in, but then it got over so well that I thought that. Plus the idea of him winning just seemed like it was a chance to kind of revitalize everything and do something different. So I was kind of hoping and thinking that that's what they were going to do. But I guess that my gut is that he's probably done.
But
I don't know.
And so it just goes back to what we had before Mania then.
Yeah.
But
except Roman Reigns is champion now.
Right.
The lockbox, Dave. The lockbox
must be forgotten.
It must be presented.
What?
It must be presented and given back to Vince McMahon now.
They haven't even talked about that since week one.
Oh man,
I think that lockbox thing's just been forgotten.
I thought that was the box that Shane hit Taker with during the match there, with all the tools, with all the tools in it.
He was blackmailing with tools.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows? I don't know.
We had Shaquille O'Neal on the pay-per-view tonight. This is a fairly large star. This is someone that's going to get you coverage on ESPN, and it's something that's been talked about for quite a while.
For years.
And he pops in tonight, unexpected. Do you know the details on this and when this seemed to come together?
No, the first I heard about it was early this afternoon or this morning.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't even hear he was going to be in the Battle Royal. I only heard he was backstage, and it looked like he was going to be in some form, participating. But I wasn't told,
That's
I didn't even know.
He just showed up for Mania, and they decided at the last minute to put him in something. That's what it sounds like.
I think they just kept it a secret, which is weird because not every other year, but a couple of other years, he would tell everyone that he was doing it, and they would always claim he wasn't, and then he never did.
But Dave, again, like Jay said, this is one of those things where Shaq, you'd get coverage on ESPN, you'd get lots of attention. Why? It should have been announced in advance.
Yeah, well, I think that feeling now is that that they can do these surprises like Austin and everything and not announce them because the idea is people will think, well, I missed it. Let me subscribe to the network and then watch the replay to see all of this. But, yeah, as far as Austin and Shaq, I sure as hell would have advertised it ahead of time.
Okay, and what about the reverse of that? They pushed the crap out of Rock being there. Rock's going to be there. It's going to be historic. It's going to be big. It's going to be fantastic. It was nothing. It was like a dime store segment you'd see on Raw. Like, I was really disappointed with all the hype that went into Rock that is what we got.
Well, especially since it's been months of it. But, they never pushed Rock that hard on television. They did some commercials with him and everything. But I actually thought that they hadn't pushed him that hard. He had pushed that, he was going to do something, but...
I don't know. It was pushed a lot. Well, it was pushed a lot more than Shaq. It was pushed a fair bit on the TV, Dave. I was just wondering, were there other ideas, or was this the idea all along? Because if this is what they came up with, it was pretty poor.
I only heard the Austin idea. I never heard... What I was told was that Rock will come up with his own idea, and that's what it's going to be. So I'm guessing that was Rock's idea that he came up with, which may explain... the why it's not costing Lesnar the match because, but now, like Ambrose, it's like,
yep. What happened
the deal
there?
With him? He got beat in every segment. He got beat by Triple H, and then he loses he lost to an F5 with no controversy.
Yep, yeah, and the whole feud. That's been the whole feud. He's been ragdolled the entire feud. This is Mania. He's a guy that's got potential. The fans like him. I thought this was the part where, and Brock's not going to be around all the time. It doesn't matter if he takes a loss here.
Well, I don't think they want to. They want to hurt Brock because they have so much money invested in him. So I get that, but then I would have done the build up to the program a lot differently if Brock was just going to beat him with an F5 and not even like Brock's had a lot of great matches. I don't think this was one of them. It was all right. I mean, there was. I thought every match was fine, but aside from the ladder match, I don't know that I thought any match was great.
Going back to the Battle Royal here, Baron Corbin goes over. Is Baron Corbin now on the main roster?
I've got to think so. Although he did work the TV tapings for NXT, which for a match that's going to air in several weeks. But I mean, I've got to consider that his big
debut.
Yeah,
big debut. No, the thing. It's like I like the idea of a new guy coming in and getting a push. I think we all do.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if I would have picked. I mean, I don't know if I would have picked him because if you're looking at the list of who is the most ready in NXT to come up. He's number 7, 8, 9, 10? You know what I mean?
Well, the thing too is the NXT fans really don't. I mean, they detest him. I mean, is that same thing going to happen here on the main roster?
Well, if he's a heel, it's okay. The thing is, though, again, there are guys in NXT that they could have brought in and put in to win that battle royal who could have really been elevated to being a top guy and not be a risk like say a Samoa Joe or something. Whereas with Baron Corbin. It's like he really, he's acceptable and he's grown a lot in the last 6 to 9 months, but he's just grown to where he's acceptable, as a wrestler. Where there are guys there that are awesome that could come in and I think be in the top mix because I don't think Corbin in the top mix. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal because. I mean, the big thing he's got going for him is size, but when you've got, the guys that they have on the main roster, they got Eric Rowan and they got, Braun Strowman and Kane and Show. So a guy who's 6'6", and 270, you know what I mean? It's one thing when you've got Rich Swann for him to work with, but when most of the guys on the main roster, or a lot of the guys on the main roster are big guys, the size alone, he's not going to get over on the size alone. And as far as the work and the promos are just they're okay. He's not a great promo. So I was I know, but he's Vince's kind of guy and all. But I just think of all the guys you're going to give this big rocket to, and you should give a rocket to somebody right now.
A few rockets.
Why him?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's okay. AJ Styles can do jobs for him, Dave.
Oh, jeez.
So let's look at NXT TakeOver because as long as WrestleMania was, this was short. As much quantity as we got there, we got quality on this show. I thought this was the best NXT TakeOver event to date. What did you think?
Could have been. It's like I was there live, so it's a different perspective. And I've only watched on tape one match, which was the tag team match. And I thought that match was a little bit better on TV than it was live. But either way, I thought it was, a great match either way. But I mean, as a live show, it was a pretty damn great live show. No doubt about it. And I mean, it was paced well. there wasn't a second that was boring.
Wasted,
That's for
yeah.
damn sure. You know,
Yeah.
and I mean, even the Aries and Baron Corbin match, which was the weakest match. I mean, that was okay. It was fine. But every other match was good to, you know, and obviously the Sami Zayn match was fantastic.
That match was absolutely amazing. It was definitely the match of the weekend. Do you think that they'll learn from this, Dave? Because that's one of the things that really bothered me, that Mania just being so long that by the end you were just so tired out. And NXT was just so perfect in terms of length. Do you think that they'll learn from this lesson and maybe realize, hey, Mania doesn't have to be 6 hours? I think people are happy with...
It was almost 7.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Like 6.5.
Yeah, I think people are happy with, 4 is more than enough, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was way too long in that sense. And, people have things to do in life, too. I mean, this was a real, then again, I do this for UFC every week. So, I mean, with these 6-hour shows, and I always think they're too long, too. But at least with them, most people aren't watching the first couple hours. But, yeah, this...
It was very long.
When it's pure entertainment and everything, it should be.
You shouldn't feel tired and burned out at the end from watching it. That is not the feeling you should have, and that's completely how I felt by the end.
I agree. I mean, as far as timing goes, I mean, I think WrestleMania had to be longer than the NXT special because it's WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think like 4.5 hours is more than enough. I mean, 4 hours used to be it used to be 4 hours.
Right.
It never felt too short. Some guys sometimes got rushed. Nobody really got rushed on this show except for the Dudleys and that, But I just, the Shane McMahon match, my God, they didn't need 30 minutes.
No,
seriously.
to set up one spot. It was like half an hour to set up one spot, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just talk about cherry pick a few news items that came up this weekend as opposed to going over that. Like, for instance, Bobby Roode and Kota Ibushi, both of them showing up at NXT Takeover. Do we know what involvement both of them have with WWE at this point?
I know Kota Ibushi's been talked about for the Global Cruiserweight Tournament, which makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. The fact that he quit New Japan and DDT makes me think that, he's probably WWE bound or NXT bound, and he'll be a great addition. He's so talented. And then Bobby Roode, obviously he was on NXT TV, and it was not teased for WWE. So, they didn't do that for their health. So I don't know if they have a deal in place, but if nothing else, you've got to think that they are they've got to be pretty close to a deal. But I haven't heard, is he going to be a player coach? But, yeah, I would think that, I would think that he'll be similar to Austin Aries.
And he did not do the tapings that were done.
No.
Okay.
No, he did not.
Along with that, Ricochet, who has been in the tapings, has been killed off of Lucha Underground. There's rumors of Ricochet and WWE as well. There's something to this?
I believe that he's going in, and I think that we'll know for sure on Sunday when New Japan does their show. If Ricochet and Matt Sydal lose their tag team championship, which I expect to happen, then I would say that pretty much confirms it. What I can tell you factually is that independent promoters who've tried to book Ricochet have been told point blank, no dates after June. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
We have it. And what would you say, Dave? I mean, I know you were in the, down in Dallas. What was your match of the weekend? I know you got to see quite a bit.
I missed the match everybody was talking about was Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay, and a lot of people told me that was the match of the weekend. So for me right now, it's two. It's Nakamura and Sami Zayn and Ricochet and Will Ospreay. I think Ricochet and Will Ospreay athletically was better, but Sami Zayn and Nakamura had a better crowd. Mm-hmm. And I need to watch Sami Zayn and Nakamura on TV to get a better feel for it. But I think that those two were probably pretty equal as far as the best match.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed your time down there. You got a little bit of time to relax right now. And
for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, about that. And I'm sure you're writing furiously. And tomorrow on Raw, do we have confirmations of any debuts that you've heard? Because I'm hearing...
I mean, not 100%, but, Gallows and Anderson are in town, so I think that they should be in town for a reason.
Yeah.
So, and it's been rumored that they were debuting right after WrestleMania. Balor, kept the championship, which that surprised me. Mm-hmm. Which is, when I was watching that, we had that double pin. So I'm going, okay, Joe's getting his hand raised, and then they raised Balor's hand, which just, it's like if they're debuting the Balor Club, shouldn't Balor be there? And The impression I was given, but it's not like I know this for sure, is that Balor debuts later. But we'll see, if he debuts tomorrow night or not. As far as anyone else, I don't know. But I figure that, it's again on this show, there's probably going to be a couple more, maybe from NXT, although the most likely NXT one should be Joe. But Joe was on the NXT tapings, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he won't debut.
Yeah, he was amazing this weekend. I'm hoping for Enzo and Cass.
Enzo and Cass I've heard a lot about. I think that there's a good I don't know they're coming, but I think there's a real good shot they are.
Yep. Well, hopefully that's happening tomorrow. It'll be another interesting day and lots for you to write about on Tuesday. Dave, we'll talk to you about that, about Raw on Monday next week. A couple hours earlier, though. Yes. Back at our regular time.
Yeah, good.
All right, Dave. Have a good time writing.
Without such a long show.
Yes, exactly. We look forward to reading it all in the Wrestling Observer this week.
Okay, thanks very much.